Hey guys, thank you for joining me on Their Fight Story. I have Angela Riptide Whitley with us. Angela, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm really good, really good. Happy Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday. How did you get into Muay Thai?
Well, my initial interest in Muay Thai was sparked when I lived in Dubai. I took a trip to Thailand for my birthday, and specifically to go scuba diving because I'm a diving instructor, and also to watch Muay Thai because I didn't know anything about it. You know, you can't go to Thailand and not experience that. So when I saw it, I sat ringside at Lumpini Stadium, the original one, and I was just in awe. I sat there from the very first fight, from the little kids that started earlier in the day to like past midnight. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. And I would really love to try this. But I didn't actually get into the sport until I moved to Puerto Rico, which was in around 2012, end of 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really been, because I know a lot of people, they like grow up training in Muay Thai. Or did you do any other type of sport?
I did. So, well, growing up, it's kind of a chubby kid. So, yeah, too much food, but and sweets. But when I was in middle school, I'd say I tried basketball and I was horrible at it. Like I barely made the B squad. And then when I got to high school, I tried out for the basketball team again, and I didn't make it. I think I tried out two years in a row. I didn't make it because I was just that bad. And I did track and field, but I was a thrower. I threw shot put and discus. And then I was like, you know what? My school had a wrestling team. I was like, let me see what this wrestling is about. And me as a kid, well, I'll say teenager, but a kid pretty much. I love watching wrestling, like WWF. So I thought it was something like that. Not at all. So, well, you know what? I did the sport. My first year I went to state. I got second in state at a higher weight class than what I weighed. And I don't know, something about wrestling, just the grit and it just taught me so much. You know, it gave me the discipline, really, it gave me discipline. Not that I wasn't disciplined, but it gave me a different kind of discipline as an athlete. Um, so yeah, wrestling was something that I did, that I was successful at when I was growing up. And I did it for about 3 years. Eventually I won the state championship. That was in Texas. At that time, only Texas and Hawaii had women's wrestling up to the state level. All the other states, if you were a girl and you wanted to wrestle, you had to wrestle boys. So yeah, that wrestling, and you know what, even to this day, like I love Muay Thai, but wrestling, it has my heart because that's where it all started for me.
Nice. How do you balance your professional life with your personal life with your professional, as far as the trying to go to school to finish your your PhD and your fight career?
Oh man, it hasn't been easy. It really hasn't. Especially like since Hurricane Maria happened on the island. It's been a struggle, but my mentor, my advisor with my PhD, he's been really good with me as far as giving me the lenience to be able to fight and travel when I need to, because I live in Puerto Rico, but I don't train there when it's time to fight. I do my training camps in the States at Strike Kings in Coppersville, Texas. So that it's not easy. I remember when I fought, was it 2018 at the IFMA Pan American Championships. I didn't even come to Texas to do my training camp. I had zero training camp just because I was taking courses and I couldn't get away that semester. So I had no training camp and I was just like, okay, I just need to get into the best shape of my life. I kept in touch with my coach who's in Texas. We were always communicating through video, and I went, and I remember I had to fight 3 days in a row. It was during finals. I had a take home essay exam. I had I had a final project I had to do. And in between fights and while I was resting, I was working on it. And it's just, yeah, it's a struggle. But you know what? Like I said, I'm passionate about Muay Thai. I'm passionate about my education. And when you're passionate about things, you just make time for it. you just make it happen. You make it work for you. So it's not easy, but if you're passionate about the things you want to do in life, you make the time for it. You just get it done.
How were you able to, how did you do? Like, because I'm trying to think about focusing just being on your fight, but then at the same exact time, you're focusing on your finals. And that, you know what I mean? That's a lot of stress. That's a lot. Fight alone is stressful.
It is, it was. How did I do? So I got gold at the Pan American Championships, and I was dog tired because it's funny. In my division, I was the only one who had to fight 3 times to win. Like all the other girls had buys into the semifinals or whatever. So I like I said, I don't know. I just dug in and I did it. And with school, I got all A's that semester. So
yay.
yeah, I shocked myself with that one, especially since I didn't have a training camp. I had someone helping me in Puerto Rico to stay fit and stay in shape, but I didn't actually have a training camp for it. So yeah, I know. I did well.
That's awesome. Good for you. Because it's really hard. I mean, people have to sacrifice, like we were talking about earlier, people sacrifice so much to fight, and balancing everything is not easy. I mean, I can't even balance it, and I'm not even a fighter, so I can just imagine, how you guys do it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I graduated high school and I was in college, I put myself through college by being, a waitress. And even after college, I still did some servicing stuff on the side. And when I first moved to Puerto Rico, that was the first job I had. So being a waitress helps you to learn how to multitask and be efficient. So that kind of helped me with how I am now, to be able to juggle so many things. But things do fall by the wayside with me. Like I said, I have a mentor, an advisor who's good about giving me the time I need off from school to do the things that I need to do as a professional fighter. And I remember he said to me, I don't want you to look back and regret not taking these opportunities, because I believe he had the opportunity to be a professional baseball player at one time, but he chose to go the academic route and become a professor. So that kind of sticks with me in my mind when I think about it, and I'm appreciative for that.
Where did you get your name Riptide from?
So my background is marine biology, for people who don't know, and a riptide is pretty much current. It's a type of current that you find along the shore. And what a riptide does, if you get caught in one, it sucks you out to sea. And if you fight against it, a lot of people drown or they just don't make it. There are ways you can get out of a riptide. A lot of times you could just let it take you out and then you swim off to the side to get back. But that's kind of, I guess, my style and how I was when I started Muay Thai. I was just kind of like that person that's just all over my opponent, especially like in the clinch and whatnot, and just kind of sucking them in, not letting them go.
Okay. So what are you going for your PhD in, since you said it's marine biology?
Yes, so my PhD is at the University of Puerto Rico, and I'm studying environmental sciences. My thesis is on coral reef ecology and coastal resilience.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yes. And you're doing all of that in Spanish, you said earlier.
Yeah, so the classes, I'm done with the coursework. I'm into the research part now, but the courses, majority of them are in Spanish. The reading we have to do, the papers and whatnot, usually they'll be in English. And then you can turn your assignments in, or you can do your tests in English as well. But usually the course is verbally in Spanish.
Oh, you have a lot.
Yeah, I do.
You have a lot. Good for you. I mean, do you feel that the martial arts aspect of it helped you through this whole process of your just balancing everything as far as your schoolwork, because of the discipline that it entails and everything?
Oh, absolutely. Because, in my opinion, to be successful at being an athlete, you really have to organize yourself and prioritize. I think that's to be successful in anything, honestly. Now, there are people out there who are just kind of, scatterbrained and messy, but they get it done. For me, I'm kind of like, I have to be very organized and I have all my ducks in a row. And that's really the key to me being successful, like with school and definitely martial arts, Muay Thai, wrestling. That's helped me with that because it teaches you that discipline to be able to do it. And also the mental side of things too. So you don't get stressed out and flustered. I've had my moments when it's like, oh man, I have this. So my exam to get to the point where I am a PhD candidate, um, it was a lot of work, but it was like over a week of just writing, and me thinking about just trying to put everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to stay calm, and the stuff you've been studying it, just do it. So yeah.
So you're living in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And Puerto Rico's big on boxing.
Yes.
What's the difficulty in finding a good place to train in Puerto Rico?
Well, so going back to Hurricane Maria, I don't get people probably tired of hearing that, but it was just such a big, devastating event on the island, and it's taken even till now to kind of recover from it. But lots of people lost their gyms. They've since been rebuilt. Juan Delgado is someone who has his own gym, Combat 360, and that's in Bayamon, I believe. He's probably the more well-known person who's teaching Muay Thai and has fighters. Then there is also Ismael Cuevas, who I train with from time to time. The gym I used to train at that no longer exists anymore since the hurricane, a lot of my old teammates train there with Ismail. So his is called Thai Arts and Fitness. And we kind of meet up once or maybe 3 times a week. And, we just hold pads and we spar, whatever. Just to kind of, it's nice to just kind of see those guys again too, because it's been so long. And also there is a federation for Muay Thai in Puerto Rico, and the president of that is Paul Rossi. And it's fairly new, it's fairly young, but before the pandemic happened, he was organizing all of these different events for the locals to compete at on the island, just to try to build themselves up and build a ranking.
How has this fight been different for you training?
This fight's been different for me because it's been a while since I've had just like a one-off fight. And man, I think the last and only time I fought a lion fight was in 2016, before my whole world just kind of changed. And since then, like I said, with going back to the hurricane, I didn't think I was going to fight again just because I didn't have a gym and I didn't know what path my life was going to take after that hurricane, because it just destroyed so much. And I got offered to fight in the IFMA World Championships by the U.S. national team. And that seemed like a beacon of hope for me, because like I said, I didn't think I was going to fight again. So my fights up until now have been with the USMF at these different international events, and they're all tournaments. So I'm used to just getting ready for tournaments, making sure, I've got the stamina, the cardio, the conditioning for the tournament, because you don't know who you're going to fight when you get to the tournament. So it's not like you can prepare to fight one person, and you have to be prepared to fight like several times. So that's how this training camp's different, just because I only have one person to fight. So, and also the recovery, the weekly recovery that you do as an athlete, for me now is much better, because I have sponsors through cryotherapy, and that's just a big game changer in itself, just to be able to feel good when you're training.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You mentioned cryotherapy. How has that helped you? I know it's.
So I go to U.S. Cryotherapy on Fort Hood. It's helped me a lot. Just the time that you would spend sitting in an ice bath is just cut like by so much. You just go into the chamber. I go in for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's freezing. It's like minus 180 degrees in there. I don't like it. I especially I'm an island girl. I've got the tropical blood. So when it's below 80 degrees for me, I'm just like, oh, where's my jacket? I'll be honest, I don't like that part of it. I really don't. But, I suck it up, bite the bullet, I do it. And I just feel whatever soreness of my arms, whatever's sore, my legs are sore, it goes away. And they have different other therapies there. They have like Theragun, they'll do localized cryo on whichever, like if I'm like, oh, my shoulder's bothering me, they'll localize it there. They have the Normatec, the compression socks that you can, leg sleeves, they have it for your arms, for your hips, whatever. They've got red light therapy, you name it. So all of that, and I'll go at least 3 times a week. Like before I go on Sundays before I start start the week off hard, like I'm gonna do. Then I'll go in the middle of the week, and then I'll go like on Friday before we spar. And I don't know, it's a game changer for me.
And how long have you been doing it for?
I actually just got that sponsorship over the summer when I came down to visit my parents in Texas. So for this training camp, I've just, for however many weeks, I've been doing it past 4 or 5 weeks. So,
it's great. That's yeah. My brother has a cryotherapy business. I never call it the right thing, but it's too cold for me.
I know.
I mean, I had to put my foot in ice one time because I burnt myself. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even put my foot in it. Could you imagine? I can't imagine just standing there and like I can't. I don't know.
I have to like mentally get myself ready sometimes, especially like because in Texas right now it's kind of chilly, and some days like we had that massive ice blizzard, whatever, for like a whole week, and I didn't go during that week. I didn't go anywhere. Nobody went anywhere because the roads were all frozen over, but it's still been kind of cold, like especially cold for my liking. So I'll go there and I'm like, all right, it's just 3.5 minutes, and some people are like 3.5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, well, you build up to that. And that's where I'll stop because I drop enough in body temperature to get done what needs to be done. So, I know what you mean. The cold, for me, the cold is just, it's so debilitating. It's painful. I hate being cold. And I was born and raised in Germany, and I hate being cold. I hate it.
What made you go to Puerto Rico?
So it's funny because I've been living all over the world since I, graduated with my undergrad. And as a marine biologist, I've worked in different places. Like I worked in Australia. I helped open the first Antarctic penguin exhibit there at the Melbourne Aquarium. And then the Dubai Aquarium wanted to do the same thing for the Middle East, so they flew me there. And, and I was thinking, you know what, I kind of want to get out of this aquarium industry. So I became a scuba diving instructor. And then I was like, you know what? I want to go back to school and get a higher degree. So this is me. Like, I'll just think of, I want to do this, and I do it. So I applied to the University of Miami, and I was thinking, okay, where can I go while I'm waiting to be accepted by the University of Miami? I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to go to the Caribbean. Let me go to Puerto Rico because, it's a part of the U.S. I don't need a passport to be there. It should be easy to get a job over the summer or whatever as a scuba diving instructor. So I went to Puerto Rico and I waited to get accepted, and they accepted me. But the thing is, I didn't want to go to Miami anymore. I was like, oh, man. I was like, I really like Puerto Rico. And I just had gotten into fighting, not super competitively, but just, I got into Muay Thai. Actually, no, I take that back. When I did get accepted, I had already done like a smoker and like an amateur fight or whatever. And I just didn't think it was going to take off for me. Like I never intended to fight ever. I just saw the sport when I was in Thailand and I was like, oh, I want to try this. I tried it. I fell in love with it. And then the opportunity presented itself for me to actually fight. And then it's like, it was addicting, one fight, and then it was like, oh, you want to do this other one? Yeah, okay, sure. And it was funny because I didn't start with Muay Thai. I started with MMA. So people don't know I have only 2 amateur MMA fights because my background, like I said, is wrestling, and I was like, oh, this is it for me. But then I started to I wanted to do Muay Thai more. So then I ditched MMA and just focused on Muay Thai. Yeah. I forgot the original question.
I was asking why Puerto Rico.
Oh,
you
yeah.
answered it.
Okay, I think I answered it like 20 minutes ago. Just rambling. But yeah, that's why Puerto Rico. I just, I love the island. I've been living there for almost a decade now, and it's my home. I'm a resident there. I go to school there. I work there. Like, it's my home. I don't know where else I would be. Well, in Texas. Texas, I guess, is also my home. But like I was speaking to you before, I was like, I have this like love-hate relationship. Yeah. Like when I'm in Puerto Rico, I wish I could be in Texas here training with my team and my coach. And when I'm here training, I'm just like, oh, I miss the beach. I miss the rainforest. I miss, I miss playing bomba. I miss dancing, all that stuff, salsa. So, so that's why Puerto Rico. It is.
Where do you plan to go from here with your fight career? Because if you get your PhD, are you gonna, like, isn't that just gonna be more?
You know what? I'm gonna ride this train as long as I can. I feel good. A lot of people don't know my age, but for my age, I feel good. By the way, I'm 36. So when I'm sure people are like, well, how old is she? I'm 36.
I was thinking that, and I'm like, I'll eventually try.
And maybe I don't look it. And that's because black don't crack. If you didn't know. But I'm gonna keep going and going. After this fight, hopefully I'll get another shot at the world title again. I'm not fighting at 145 anymore. It's just a bit too heavy for me. All my fights pretty much have always been at my walk around weight or above it. And so this fight's going to be at the request of my opponent, it'll be at 132. That's fine. My contract is for 135, but whatever, 132, 135, that's good for me. And hopefully I'll get a shot at a world title after this fight. We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to go as far as I can go. But immediately after this fight, definitely getting back home to Puerto Rico, and I'm hitting the beach. That's where I'm headed right now. Yeah, I gotta get my melanin popping again. This Texas weather, I'm not feeling it at the moment.
You're not feeling it.
Nah, it's a little too cold for my liking. It's funny because in the summer it's like blazing hot. I'm just used to that tropical, humid all the time. It's hot, but I like it. So.
Okay, something completely different because you just mentioned humidity. How do you handle your hair in the humidity? Because my hair is like a chia pet when I get there. If I get to like Miami, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, I get off the plane and it just goes, you know what I mean? It just starts growing.
Well, for me, like my hair, it's curly, and usually in Puerto Rico, it's a little bit more, I have a bigger afro than this just because of the humidity. And I like it. I rock it. I'm just like, well, whatever. That's me. I like when I have my friend calls it a poofus. I'm like, I like it when I have a big poofus. I get that Angela Davis look.
Yeah.
I like it. There's different products there. Actually, a product I do use on my hair is called Afro Love, and it's made in the Dominican Republic. Here, the air is it's a bit drier, so the curls are a little bit tighter here. But yeah, just a little.
Awesome. What are we gonna expect from you in your next fight?
What are you gonna expect from me? That's a good question. I have to wait and see. Just expect me to bring my heart like I always do. All my fights, I bring my heart. If you can even remember, I'm sure, yeah, you said you were there when I fought Jarena, but that was all heart. That was all heart.
You fought with Jars? Jars, was it her name?
Bars, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jarena Bars. I fought her, and that was just all heart. I got cut up and everything, and so you can expect me to just bring my best foot forward, bring a lot of heart.
All heart. The Riptide.
No, I mean technique too.
No, I know.
Technique, everything. I mean, I'm training, so Yeah, yeah. We've got some things we've been working on. So yeah,
Well, I'm
definitely.
looking forward to it. Definitely hoping. I mean, I wish I could be there, but I can't. But definitely, hopefully, the next fight you have, I can be there and taking pictures and being in your corner.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Do you have any final words that you want to share with everybody before we conclude?
Uh, I just want to say I'm really excited to be back on Lion Fight again. I'm excited to just be back in the ring, period, after this whole pandemic. I'm looking forward to just putting on a good show, doing my best, and just representing my team, Strike Kings, my coach, Chadwick Turner, representing Puerto Rico, just doing the damn thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any shout outs to your sponsors?
Yes, I have a few. There's Shelton Harrison. Thank you so much. There's the no, Puerto Rico Neumology. Uh, there's Fight City Bermuda. They're sponsoring me. There's U.S. Cryotherapy, TFW with Jess Davis. Oh man, uh, the Tunde Brown. There's so many, and I'm sorry if I missed anyone because there's a long list, and off the top of my head, but I think I hit most of them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you, Igalia. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.